Hey, welcome back to the channel, guys. Doing the upgrade on the brushless motor today on the Redcat MT-18, and I know there's install videos out there, but I didn't really. Everyone had their own way of doing it and what to take off and whatnot, so I'm just going to do mine, just because, just for me, and maybe it'll help somebody else. So when I started, basically I took off the the ESC combo, got rid of that. And then what I started to do is I started to remove all the screws on the side. And it turns out you really only need to remove the two top links. Well, let's call it the bottom links. These links here. Your diff links. The two that are on the outside. And there's two on the inside here. So there's two each side. So there's 8 total. The two that are closest to the bottom, if it's upside down and you have it facing this way, the two up on top this side and the two on top this way are going to be the longer screws. You can see they look a little bit longer, okay? And the ones on the bottom here are going to be the shorter screws, okay? So just remember that. The only other thing you have to do is remove the 4 screws on the bottom of the plate, on the diff plate here. And then like I said, I just removed the links on both sides. I probably could have got away with only removing part of the links, or like maybe half one side. And then you just got a set screw that's inside your drive shaft on each side that you got to loosen up too. I probably recommend putting some more Loctite on those when you put those back in, just for these, because they are metal. So, and here's the old OEM diff. And look at the size comparison to the motor. It's considerably smaller, isn't it? So far that's what I've taken off, and we'll go ahead and open it up and do the next step. All right, so we got the diff apart, and you can see how the diff is, how it looks inside there. Looks freshly greased. You see the bearings, both sides. I kind of left these intact, and now on this side you want to pull out those gears in there so you can get to the motor screws. So that'll be next here. Just for me doing this myself, I got big fingers, big hands. It's probably best that when you put it back together, I'm taking it apart, that you put all the gears in on the one side of the motor side first, even with your pins, your bearing pins and the shafts. It's easier to put everything in on one side instead of trying to put part of it on the other side of the case. Just put everything in on the one side of the case, and if you can see, this is how the gears are going to go back in. So if you messed up, you're not sure, doesn't seem right, just come back here and look at this. So put everything back in on that side. I got to take it out, but I just made this observance when I'm doing it. You probably want to know your direction, otherwise you'll get frustrated. So look at my gears. This is how yours is going to go on. And I have everything on one side only, so just for insight. Again, just to show you the size difference in the motor. Yeah, it's so much more smaller. It's pretty amazing. So that's the motor out. This is the direction of the gears. Everything out. So the screws for the motor still in there. All right, so we got the motor in. I got big hands, big fingers. All those screws, by the way, are 1.5 millimeter hex. That's what you're using, and it's the same for all of them. Anyways, when I took these out, I just took the grease off the threads because there's grease in there. And then when I put it on, you have to put it on even, because I was afraid that the threads were going to cross thread on the screws going in. So just be careful, don't force it, but do trial fits, a little bit on each side, and it'll go in nice and snug. Remember, this is a plastic housing, so you go too tight, you're going to crack that housing right up. So but the motor's in, and now I'll assemble the diff hub. All right, so we got the motor on. Just be careful you're putting it on. It'll feel like you're cross-threading. Just put the screws that mount the motor to the case on evenly, and don't over tighten them, because the case is plastic, so you're going to crack it if you go too much. But yeah, the screws go right in. It's nice and tight on there. Now you're going to put these 4 screws that you took off the gear case back on. And I use a electric screwdriver, guys, because you know my wrists get tired after spinning around a million times. I don't torque with them. Just get them on till they get tight, and then just use your regular 1.5 millimeter wrench to finish it up. So getting ready to tighten these 4 screws in and then mount it to the chassis. All right, guys. So I got the all bottom in. Links are in. Top is in. Now you notice I notched out this plate, because when you install the motor, you want the wires facing up. You want to face those up, because if you face them down, it's going to hit the drive shaft. It's really close. If not, but when facing up, this plate was resting right on it, so just notched it out a little bit. Use a razor blade, just kind of notched it out, and then it will fit flush. It won't be resting against the wire. So that's where I'm at. All right, so I got the receiver in. I got the ESC mounted on top. I'm not sure about mounting that yet. This is preliminary. I had to buy my new receiver with my ixsr radio. I just did a video on that too. But right now, steering is set up. I'm going to set up the rear steer in a second, but I just wanted to get it running. Everything's in. I have not installed the app yet or did any programming on that. I just wanted to get it going to see if everything was working. So right now, everything's working. So now I'm going to put the rear servo in, and then go from there. All right, so I got everything in. The only thing left is to just clean up the wiring. Putting on that servo, aftermarket servo. I couldn't use the nice aluminum ones because the threading hole is different than the threading on that nut that is on that ball stud that comes on it. So they give you a white servo horn with that servo. So I used that. I just had to open up the hole a little bit. And I remember seeing that in a video. Someone else had that same issue. So, you know, I'm using an ixsr, so I have a lot more control over my front and rear steering, like a lot of higher end radios do, with curves and everything else. But everything is working. Everything's solid. God, the turning radius is like on a dime. You know what I mean? It's crazy that I can probably turn it right on this table if I really wanted. No, I can't do 2 hands. So, but anyways, turns on a dime. Gotta turn down the curves and the rate, the travel for the back. Right now, the reverse is faster. I had downloaded the app and did all the settings on there. No matter what I do, when I reverse it on my radio or go forward, it's always faster reverse. So I don't know if I got to move pins around or whatever, but that's forward. Back, you can tell it's got more torque. Forward, back, forward. And this is the stock 2S that came with it. So that's it. Speed controller, motor, servo, all done. Next is to clean up the mods. I'll do a part 2 video once it's all done. I got to install the app and then go inside the ESC and adjust the rates, all that stuff. So, but that's the back, that's the front. Pretty cool. Fun little fun little truck for indoor garage. We're gonna set up a track in the garage and stuff like that. But man, it's like a big truck in a small package. It really is. So it's part 1 of upgrades on the mods. So you can see how I mounted the ESC. For now, anyways, I might mount it horizontally down inside the plate here. But for now, my receiver fits in between here, and I got it stuck right at the top. So I could, if the wires will allow me, I'll put the ESC back here, and then leave it flat. That way it doesn't stick up. You can see how it's sticking up. It just won't lay flat here either because of the screws for the shocks and stuff. So I'm gonna just put it sideways there, figure that out, just to see how I like it, and then use brass weights up front. So It's part one of the upgrade mods on the Redcat MT-18. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, hit that notification. See you in the next one.